The script is undoubtedly one of the most important aspects of any movie. It's where every film begins, as the writer plots out a compelling story and gives it some fun, interesting characters. But when the cameras are rolling, the screenplay is more of a guideline than something definitive the creative team has to follow. Some directors allow their actors some breathing room to ad-lib during filming, and the results can actually improve the final product, especially if the actor in question has a strong sense of humor. There's no telling what will happen. If you like what you see, subscribe to our channel, and be sure to like this video. Here are 10 improvised moments in popular films that made them funnier. And before we start, can you guess this movie from these emojis? Stay tuned for the answer at the end of our video. Zoolander. One of Ben Stiller's most famous movies, Zoolander is known for poking fun at the modeling industry and how many of the models don't exactly score well on IQ tests. This was readily apparent during the scene in which Zoolander learns from conspiracy theorist J.P. Pruitt how the male modeling industry was behind every major political assassination over the last century. After hearing Pruitt's rather lengthy explanation of why the plan is perfect, a clueless Zoolander repeats, "Why male models? But why male models?" This was an honest mistake on Stiller's part, as he forgot his next line and just said the question again. It was a funny bit and helped underscore the movie's themes.
That's a lovely, lovely voice.
The Dark Knight Rises. More serious-minded movies could always use a little bit of levity to lighten the mood before things turn dark again, and Tom Hardy knew just how to do that for The Dark Knight Rises. In the scene right before Bane destroys Gotham's football field, a small child is singing the national anthem. As Bane stands in the tunnel, waiting to detonate the bombs, he remarks, "That's a lovely, lovely voice." According to the producers, Hardy improvised that line on the spot, and since it was worth a chuckle, it made the finished cut. Turns out bad guys can appreciate great singing too. And Marvel fans? We didn't forget about you. Stay tuned for a great moment from Avengers: Age of Ultron.
My wife used to fart when she was nervous. She had all sorts of wonderful little idiosyncrasies. She used to fart in her sleep.
Good Will Hunting. The emotional core of this drama is the relationship that forms between Will Hunting and his psychologist Shaun. Both Matt Damon and Robin Williams gave excellent performances, and Williams even found a spot for his legendary comedic improvisation skills. During one of their sessions, Shaun tells Will a story about how his late wife used to fart in her sleep, which makes Will crack up, laughing hysterically. As it turns out, Williams came up with this story on the spot, giving the film one of its funniest and most memorable moments. This is just one reason why the actor walked away with an Oscar for his role.
All right, you all know the drill. When your number is called, step forward and repeat the phrase you've been given.
The Usual Suspects. Bryan Singer's twisty crime drama has several great scenes, but the most famous one is arguably the lineup sequence, where the police round up the usual suspects and have them all repeat a single line of dialogue so they can identify the perpetrator of a crime. All the actors were able to put their own spin on the line, which led to hilarious results. In particular, Benicio del Toro's delivery got turned into a joke, as a cop, played by writer Christopher McQuarrie, asked the actor to repeat the statement, "In English, please," which del Toro took offense to. The cast was one of the Usual Suspects' strongest assets, and this was a stellar showcase.
6-year-old boys don't have girls on their minds.
I did.
For God's sake, Abby, even Freud speaks of a latency period.
Annie Hall. Frequently cited as one of the best romantic comedies ever made, one of Annie Hall's most hilarious scenes was not part of Woody Allen's Oscar-winning script. In the scene, Allen's character Alvy is handed a small tin of cocaine at a party. Allen sneezes upon holding the container, sending white powder shooting everywhere. The other actors couldn't help it and started to laugh uncontrollably. Allen decided to leave this bit in the final cut when it tested well with audiences. Everyone enjoyed the genuine moment, and it's now one of the most famous sneezes in all of cinema. It's impossible for Allen to have planned this on the spot, but it all worked out.
Keep up, old man.
Nobody would know.
Avengers: Age of Ultron. One of the many subplots in this Marvel extravaganza is the friendly rivalry that forms between Quicksilver and Hawkeye. Starting on opposite sides, the two trade barbs and then work together to take down Ultron. During the final battle, there's a moment where Quicksilver speeds past the marksman and teases, "Keep up, old man." Hawkeye jokingly takes out an arrow and says to himself, "Nobody would know," before returning to the fight. In a massive, special effects-fueled climax, this was a small, amusing moment that many found humor in. Hawkeye was a standout in Age of Ultron, and this is just one example of that.
Someone has to stay behind.
Oh, no, I have a boyfriend.
Jurassic World. No matter how tight security is, a Jurassic Park adventure is always going to end with dinosaurs running amok, causing people to run for safety. As Jurassic World struggles to contain the escaped Indominus Rex, tech employee Lowry decides to stay behind in an act of bravery. partially to impress Vivian, his female coworker who he is quite fond of. Unfortunately, their romantic moment lands with a thud, since Vivian reveals that she's had a boyfriend the whole time. The line was improvised by actress Lauren Lapkus, and director Colin Trevorrow kept it in the final cut. It was a fun way to subvert an old Hollywood cliche. Shaun of the Dead. Comedy films are often ripe for ad-libbed moments, and Edgar Wright's love letter to zombie movies is no different. During one scene in a bar, Ed attempts to cheer Shaun up by telling him the stories behind all the patrons' lives. One woman is supposedly a former porn star, and there's also a man who has connections to the mafia. Nick Frost came up with these on the spot, which made Simon Pegg genuinely laugh as he watched his friend go to work. Whether Ed was telling the truth or not, he was successful in making Shaun feel happy again, as he'd get to spend his life with seemingly interesting people.
It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole!
Caddyshack. It's one of the most famous American comedies of all time, and its most iconic scene is one that wasn't even originally in the script. The legend Bill Murray improvised the entirety of the now iconic Cinderella story sequence, where the groundskeeper at the golf course relays a story of an unknown golfer winning the Masters Championship. All Murray asked for was 4 rows of mums, and the rest is history. He admitted in his book that it was a spur-of-the-moment idea that he thought would be funny. It's something any golfer has imagined doing, so he certainly had the right idea.
So it's just McLovin?
Yeah.
Superbad. Emma Stone has turned into a critical darling, with performances in awards-nominated films like Birdman and La La Land. But when she first came on the scene, she was known best for her comedy. Stone's coming out party was the 2007 film Superbad, and she demonstrated back then she had a talent for making people laugh. In one scene, Jonah Hill's character Seth accidentally headbutts Stone's Jules, and the actress's reaction was priceless.
I think maybe...
Apparently, Stone ad-libbed her expletive-ridden exclamation, and the filmmakers thought it was so funny, they kept it in the final film. Is there anything Stone can't do? Well, those are just some of the funniest improvised movie moments. And the answer to the movie emoji is... Did you get the right answer? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Screen Rant for more fun videos like this one.